All right, Joe, you're pretty excited after that win against the Sixers, and you got a stretch of
Yeah.
games here. I was not going to say you're going to find out something about your team that you don't already know, but things seemed different the other night. What'd you take coming away from that game? The way that they defended you.
Yeah, well, one, I think this month is going to be an exciting month, a challenging month, and we're really looking forward to it. I expect it to be difficult, and there'll be a good opportunity for us to kind of just be in challenging situations. It's a tough month, so. But the other night's game was great because I think we're finding ways to win in games, and I think course of the year and a half here, we've won when we've had great offensive nights and really good defensive nights. And our ability to really get to the free throw line, play physical offense, and play team defense was good against Philadelphia.
So that was the first Celtics win making 5 or fewer threes since 2018. And
Wow, really?
Yeah, and the 22 attempts were the fewest number of attempts in 3 calendar years, Joe. So what does that represent? Is that just what you're saying, which is you got to find different ways to win, you've got to be able to adapt, or is that a concerted effort over a few games to make sure that you're trying to win in different ways and be prepared for anything this league throws at you going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of that. Our guys are doing a great job of kind of being open-minded to how teams are defending us. And, when you play a team 4 or 5 times or when you play a team that's looking to try something different against us, we got to be aware of that, and we got to be ready to attack it differently. And so the guys come into every game knowing defense is the most important. And then secondly, we're going to see something that we may not have seen before, so are we ready to execute? And you can win a game differently every night in the NBA. And the more ways we can win, the more things that we can work on as far as executing will give us, a lot of flexibility when the playoffs come around.
Now, you played Philly before, but they didn't have Embiid. And like a lot of people would say coming off your comments that, well, they didn't have Embiid. How would you play differently with him? But you're a big statistical guy and analytics. And we've talked to you before, and you say don't pass up that three-point shot. Were you giving him the directive like Jaylen Brown, who talked after the game? I intentionally drove the paint to make some things open for my players.
Yeah, I think, the way that they were defending us, those open threes were much harder to get because, they were switching, they were being physical with us, and they were kind of staying home on the weak side, not over-helping and giving us kick-out opportunities. And so, we made that adjustment in kind of the middle of the second quarter, so to speak, and then, that's going to happen from time to time. And so as teams start to study us and look at ways to defend us and attack us, we got to be ready to go to different stuff. And so I thought our guys did a great job. Usually when you go to, dribble drive like that and you have physical drives, they did a great job of taking care of the basketball and getting to the free throw line and making our free throws. So, and defending. So it's just, trying to put complete games together is important.
Joe, I feel like you've battled back against that narrative at points this year about taking too many threes or relying on the three. You've had these great interactions with Gary Washburn that we've talked to you about. So when you win in a different way, does that please you? Does that make you happy just in terms of like showing the world, see, we could do it more than one way. It's not just all about threes. Maybe just telling everybody you're wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for our team to learn, like, hey, our offensive system is based on taking what the defense gives us, and our offensive system is based on, what can we exploit on the other team, and it's going to be different every single night. And as long as our guys have the confidence and the empowerment to make shots and to make plays, it's going to look different. And so what pleased me is like our guys' ability to execute, an offensive game plan that gave us the best chance to win on that night. And, it's something that we have really talked about, most of the season, especially since the Denver game at home. And I think our guys have done a really good job of understanding offensive execution, recognizing how they're being guarded, and being able to attack that as a team.
All right, Joe, coming off the All-Star game, there's a lot of discussion with Tatum and, the transformation where LeBron's going to be leaving the game and who's going to become the face of the league. And Jason seems like, much more mature than past years. And not that he was immature, but, answered it like, I got to win one. I got to go out and win one. And that sort of stamps you. You as a coach, do you like hearing that?
Yeah, I mean, we all get into this to compete at the highest level and achieve what we want to achieve. And, we both are part of a Celtic organization that has that tradition and that history. And so the goal of winning a championship is it's always going to be there. I think that's a huge responsibility that we have. At the same time, you can't always control that, and it's about how you go about it. And I think where you said he's matured is that he's matured in like this is how I'm evolving as a player. These are the things that we do as an organization. It's a process-oriented approach, and we have faith that if we do things the way in that process, that it will work out in the end. So I definitely think we should be taking on that challenge and that responsibility of wanting to win a championship. We just got to go about it in a process-oriented team approach.
Yeah, and I just think that commentary, because like a year ago at the All-Star game, he gets the MVP, and it just felt like that was very important to him. And a lot of things were written, like we didn't talk championship. It just feels he's talking championship this year and less individual. Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does. I mean, I think he's always talked that, but I think it's definitely something that's like we're all viewing it as that process-oriented approach towards like how do we get to the opportunity to win one, knowing that it's not guaranteed. Even if we do things the right way all the time.
Well, speaking of MVP candidate, by the way, Joe, Ryan Johnston, good to talk to you for the first time.
On a 10-day.
I'm the 10-day guy in the seat today.
So I asked on a 10-day, and they said you come in most Fridays, so you're kind of like a two-way.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a bit of a role player, but can step up and have a big game now and then. You've got speaking of MVP candidates, you got one coming in here tonight in Doncic. What kind of matchup issues does he represent? And also, do you think Tatum gets up bigger for games like this because of what Zoe was just talking about? Like, MVP is an important thing in this league. Does he have a little bit of extra juice to him tonight?
If I know one thing about him in particular, our team, is they have juice for a lot of games, and I think that's one of the reasons why we are where we are right now, and the consistency that we're playing with is we've done a great job for the most part of like treating every game the same with a high level of urgency, and so I really think that's been a huge area of growth for our team this year. And the challenges Doncic presents is he not only is he a great scorer, but he's also a great facilitator and playmaker for his team, and I think since the trade deadline, they've made some moves that have kind of complemented their team. And, as much as you talk about Doncic, I think Irving's playing at a high level, and you can't forget about him because of the talent that he has. Tim Hardaway Jr. hurt us in the first half when we were at Dallas, with his ability to shoot the ball. And, their role players are playing at a high level. So that presents the challenge of just like his ability to score versus his ability to also be a playmaker and create easy opportunity for his teammates.
Speaking of not only that, MVP candidate, just these teams that you have coming up on your schedule here for the next 5. Mavericks have won 8 of 10. Warriors have won 10 of their last 12. The Cavs have been hot. The Nuggets are hot. The Suns, all these teams coming up. Do you have something to prove here over these next 5 games?
I mean, not to anybody else other than ourselves, and making sure that the things that the habits that we build, the mindset that we build, that we continue to put those things forward, regardless of who we're playing. And so we talked about that today as a team where, as much as the result of winning is important, the result of continuing to play with the right habits, the right mindset, the right, execution and purpose that we have been is that we continue that.
You talked about process before, going through the season. I've seen coaches in various sports sometimes break down, and when you get toward the end of the season and you're going to be in the playoffs, break the series down into 7-game segments, or break the regular season down what's left into 7-game segments and say we need to win 4 out of every 7. We need to prepare ourselves. Do you do any of that as you come down the stretch here?
Saying we need to win is difficult because you always need to win. So it's more just trying to create that approach of like every single game is the most important game, and then when it's over, we take what we need to take from it and we apply it to the next game. And I think our guys have really done a great job of that. Is every game's going to teach us something about our team, whether it's how someone's defending us or how we're defending someone else. And can we quickly learn that, and can we apply it to the next game, or can we keep it in our arsenal and apply it for when it's necessary? And I think that's the most important thing, is making sure we're competing at a high level, making sure we're playing with the right intentions on both ends of the floor, and then making sure we're learning everything we need to learn and apply it as we go along.
All right. Joe, I watched Gran Turismo for you. Check that movie out.
That's a great movie.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's a great movie.
I'll tell
True
you
story, right?
Yeah. And the scene at the end, sort of the flashbacks to the childhood, I thought that was pretty nice. Just the
idea that you could transform
Here we go.
a game simulation into real life. It's pretty cool. I mean, you might have a chance at the NBA, Beal.
You never know.
You playing up
You never know.
2K?
You simulate enough, play enough 2K. You know, if I could beat my 9-year-old who won't be going to a Celtics game this year, but maybe someday we could end up in the league.
Someday that is going to be the league.
Yeah.
There just won't be
That's
players.
right.
You'll just be playing simulations.
Careful, Joe. Someday they might just eliminate the cars and the league and just play the games on the video game. You'll be
Hey,
out
I really
of a
hope
job.
your 9-year-old gets to a game.
I hope so too.
Well, he's got 2 others too, Joe.
Yeah.
So,
I'm praying for them.
Joe, good luck tonight and Sunday. And we'll talk to you
All right,
next week,
fellas.
buddy.
Good to talk to you guys.
All right, bye,
pal.
Joe.
See you, Joe.
Later.
Joe Mazzulla, Celtics head coach.